Considering a divorce, watch this first. Today might be one of the most important episodes that I will ever record. Why is that? Because I see a scary number of people looking at divorce as the solution to all their problems. Let me tell you, divorce is not a magic solution to every problem. Every problem does not go away, and things don't necessarily get better just because we get a divorce. So if you're considering a divorce, stick around because I'm going to go through practical actions and things that you can actually do from where you are right now to consider, is it the right step for you? Is it not? What can you do if you want to maintain or keep the relationship? I'm going to go through all of those different facets. I'm actually a marriage and relationship counselor, and I've helped so many couples save their relationship, keep their family together, stop feeling like roommates, and actually communicate to where they can understand one another and be on the same page, resolve things peacefully, and find that loving connection with one another. Again, even if you feel like it's gone forever, I promise you can find it again. So this episode specifically is, I'm considering divorce. What should I do? What am I going to do if I'm considering divorce? So if you're considering divorce, obviously things are very, very tough at the moment. You are feeling hurt, maybe resentful, maybe you just want things to get back on track. Maybe you just don't know where to turn or what to do. Or maybe things get better for a few days and then they get really bad, or they get good for a week and then they get really bad. We consider divorce for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it's the slow burn. And what I mean by that is there's just been over years or days or weeks or months an accumulation of not finishing conversation, hurt, resentment, pain building, so much to the point that nobody's needs are getting met. You're fighting all the time, you're not communicating, and honestly, you stop spending time together because every time you do, you end up in a fighting cycle. And I want you to know, for starters, around this one in particular, you can actually stop feeling resentful. You can heal the hurt, the pain, the shame, the guilt, the resentment, all the things that come with it, and you can stop that cycle. And so sometimes we just need some skills. I'm going to come back to that and talk more on that. But for other couples, it could be cheating, it could be lying, it could be addiction, maybe some mental health issues, maybe they've stepped outside the boundaries of the relationships in different ways. There is so many things that can happen. There can be financial issues and financial stress. There can be family, in-laws, and pressure and pain. I just want you to know that I literally work with all couples around all of these different things and a whole lot more. And you can work through these things. It doesn't have to be a make or break situation. It doesn't have to be a breaking point situation. It doesn't have to end in divorce. Now, I know where you're sitting right now. You're probably thinking, you don't feel the way I do. You don't feel emotionally exhausted, emotionally spent. I've tried to fix this. I've tried everything I can think of, and we're still getting nowhere. I get it. I really do. And I feel your pain. But I'd also like to challenge you on, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If we do the same thing over and over and over again, we're getting the exact same result. So sometimes we need to try something new. Sometimes we need to broaden our horizons and look at different things. Maybe we need to acquire new skills. Maybe we need to have some guidance and things like that. I'm just going to talk to you about a few couples first that I have specifically walked through this process where they've come to me. They said they're at breaking point. They had a beautiful, beautiful family. They had 2 children. They both had, one had a career that they really loved working towards. The other actually wanted to pivot out of their career. They didn't love it so much. And I'll tell you what happened with that in a moment. But there was cheating. There was lying, not just about the cheating, but about other things as well. There was, yes, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to get on the same page. And then there was more lies. They actually had a huge amount of things to overcome, and they did it. We walk through this process that I do with couples to reconnect them, to be transparent, be truthful, to get back on the same page, to see what we want for our relationship, our family, and things like that. And before I met them, they'd actually moved separately. One of them had moved out of the family home. And when we worked together, we worked through things. We got them back in the same home after a little while. We worked through the hurt, the pain, and the resentment. They now have relationship habits dialed in so they can stay connected even in busy seasons. And he actually left his job that he hated and started his own business. Now, I know this sounds, because I'm giving you the snapshot of it, it sounds like, wow, amazing. And yes, it is amazing. Their results are amazing because they applied themselves. They got the guidance, they learned the skills, they got the resources, and they didn't just try and do it alone. So sometimes when we try and do it alone, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. We think maybe we'll try this angle or this angle, maybe this will work and this will work. And you don't know, right? Because you're thinking from one side of the story or one side of the equation, but not both sides, right? And so even when you try to do that, sometimes it can be difficult, or you assume what your partner thinks. And maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but sometimes it doesn't land quite how you want it to land. Sometimes you're even trying to word it right and you're trying to say all the right things, but it's just not coming out right. So let's get to the action plan. What do we do if we're at absolute breaking point? We're considering divorce. Here is the first thing you need to do. Time is of the essence if you're thinking and feeling that, and I'm guessing so is your partner. So often couples really fall into this like crisis pattern of waiting for things to get better on their own, waiting for the other person to change or to realize what's going on. But honestly, waiting only deepens the divide between you and your partner. So every moment actually counts. So instead, encouraging you to act decisively. What I mean by that is not rashly. What I mean by that is not saying, hey, I want a divorce. That is not what I mean. What I mean by that is, and I'm going to go through the this is not a standalone step on its own. But what I mean by that is you need to actually, if you've been known you've been in this pattern for a long time, you need to take action. You need to get support. You need to get help. You need to be expanding your mind. You need to be learning about these skills. And honestly, if we're at divorce point, like there's no brain, like support and guidance are needed. The next, acknowledge your emotions. So it's normal to feel scared. It's normal to feel hurt, angry. These emotions are valid, but they don't have to control your actions. So it's really important to take time to breathe when you're in these moments, because it can feel so much. It can feel so overwhelming. You want to actually ask yourself, what do I truly want for this relationship? Let me say that. Ask yourself, what do I truly want for this relationship? And then you need to ask yourself, in 10, 20 years time, 30 years time, what do I want my life to look like? And you can actually future pace this. I highly recommend that couples in this situation or individuals in this situation future pace it. And so what I mean by that is, if we go down this path, saying being divorced, then what does my life look like? How much time do I spend with my kids? How does that play out? And I mean, these are hypotheticals and you can only guess, but you can make an educated guess on what this might look like. What does my life look like in 20, 30, 40 years time if we divorce? On the other side, if we reconcile, if things get better, if we reconnect, we stop feeling like roommates, we stop fighting, we have the love, joy, and peace back in our relationship, then what does my life look like? What does it look like in 10, 20, 30 years? What does life with my kids look like? What does it look like and what does it feel like? And which one do we want? When we look about it and we think about it, which one supports us and our kids and our family or our partner? Which supports us better? Okay. Now, I understand there are some circumstances that are different. I'm only talking about safe relationships here. And let me be very, very clear. Safe relationships only. If your relationship is not safe or it's controlling or things like that, this video is not for you. So let me be really clear. This video is for relationships where maybe there's disagreements or hurt, pain, resentment, no affection, no connection, all of those types of things have fallen by the wayside or they're not there anymore, but it's safe, then this video is for you. But if it's not a safe relationship, then this video is not for you, okay? So I just want to be very, very clear because it's very important. So action step number 3 is to practice radical empathy. Now, this can be really, really difficult, but I want you to hop in your partner's shoes. I want you to imagine what they're facing right now, what they're feeling right now, what unmet needs could be driving their behavior. So oftentimes people will be like, I've had some clients before where he just won't get off, won't do anything. Oh, he's so lazy, he's so this, but I'm so worried about his health because if he doesn't get up, he's going to die early and all of this stuff. And the partner only heard the part of the story where I'm lazy, but I work all this time. I'm not lazy. I do huge hours at work and I'm exhausted and all these things. But what was lost in translation between them, she wasn't worried about him having downtime. She wasn't worried about him relaxing. She loved him so much that she was worried about losing him. And so once they understood that between one another, things changed. They were able to go, oh, we're not fighting about that. Well, what we're actually fighting about is you just don't want to lose me. You're scared that my health is such an issue. You don't want to lose me. And that's why you're like coming at me, doing all the things, talking at me, but it's really because you're scared. And so from that place, it's a different conversation. It's like, well, I'm sorry, I know you're scared and I'm going to take these action steps to help my health so I can be around because I want to be around with you for a very long time. And that's just one small, teeny tiny example where often couples want to be on the same page more often than you know. They just don't know how to be. And so sometimes we really need to learn that. But also getting back to empathy, when we practice empathy, then we can sort of think about, well, what needs we might not be meeting of theirs, or what hurtful actions might have been happening that's really made them go within their shell or maybe made them yell. It's approaching the situation with curiosity instead of judgment. Judgment will not save your marriage, but curiosity will. Curiosity is really, really important in a relationship. You can stop the cycle, you can reconnect intentionally, and you can plan for the future so these things don't happen. All right. You can actually save your relationship in 72 hours. Now, I know that sounds like a big thing, but I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. So many couples, they get in this dire straits situation and they don't take action. They don't know what to do and they end up divorced. I have had many, many calls from people 2 years down the track, 3 years down the track. Now, I've never worked with them. I've never heard of them before, but they ring because they wonder how they can get their relationship back. But they have been divorced already for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And they just said, I wish I would have fought more. I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have listened. I wish I would have tried to figure out what was going on with them. I wish I would have taken the time because I want my family back. I want my husband, wife, partner back. I have had this conversation so many times. And can I tell you from that place, it's very, very hard to go back. People have gone through a lot of emotional processing to move forward, to move on with their life. And so to think about going back can be very difficult. So that's why I'm saying if you're considering divorce, this video is very important because it's not as simple as going, let's get a divorce. And I know, it's not as simple as that. I know it's hurtful. I know it's painful, but sometimes that feels like the way, right? The only option, because we think and feel sometimes that we've tried everything else, but I promise you haven't. You can do more. And again, this is if safe relationships. And so again, time is of the essence. Acknowledge your emotions and practice radical empathy. The most important way to move your relationship forward often, especially when we're in this kind of crisis point, is immersion, is getting a different environment, getting support, getting help you need, and going deep in your relationship, figuring out what's going on, what's happening, how you can really cultivate skills to ensure this doesn't happen again, how you can break the cycle, how you can reconnect with intentionality, and then put a plan together for the future. Plan for your relationship, maybe for your family, for your life, and get on the same page. Now, couples often will resist taking time out of the relationship and think that it's too hard with kids, work, whatever, or my partner won't want to. It is the single best investment in your relationship, taking a couple of days to work on yourself, to work on your relationship, to be in a luxurious environment, and to get the time and space to do so, guided by a professional, right? Everything I've said leading up to now is the reason I've actually created a couples counseling retreat, because couples don't take the time. Immersion therapy is proven to get faster and quicker results. And it can just be the boost that you need to break out of this and to get your relationship back on track. Now, full disclosure, this retreat has support before and after as well, but it's the number one way to save your relationship in 72 hours. Now, I know that sounds like, how could that be true? How could that be possible? Because again, when you use the right skills, when you have the professional guidance, when you've got the bandwidth and the time and the space, and you can get some sleep, maybe away from children, you come up with solutions as well, creative solutions when you're out of your own environment. So this is why I've created this retreat. It is amazing high value. It is such a tiny cost compared to the cost of a divorce. It can honestly alter the course of where your relationship might be heading. And I would recommend just going down below. You can go to the link and book a free chat with me. It's a free reconnect relationship call on the retreat. Let's have a chat, see where your relationship is, and see what the best support plan would be for both of you. You have your own private cabin with a full spa bath, hot croissants delivered to your room every morning. And we go through, you have one-on-one couples counseling as well in that. And we go through these things and we start exactly where you are at. So it's not generalized in any way. It is specific targeted support for you and your relationship. Everybody is not working on the same thing because everybody's different and everybody has different struggles. You are provided with a lot of resources, and I will guide you as well with where do we go and what do we do. And I even customize for people based on where they're at and what they need and where to start. And I just guide you through. So basically you have my attention for the entire retreat. You also get amazing massages. There's just so many beautiful, wonderful inclusions to make it such a wonderful experience, but also so you don't have the bandwidth. You don't have to think about anything. It's all done for you. It's application only. I don't just let any couple come in. It's very strategic and specific to ensure that the group is calm and peaceful and proactively working through what they need to work through. And so if you're on YouTube, you will have been seeing some of these behind the scenes come up. It is one of the best experiences. Come to the retreat. book the free call below and let's have a chat and take action. Don't let your relationship just disappear into the abyss. Take action. Make sure you can do all you can do so at least you can have peace in your heart. Use what I have spoken about in this episode, because you can go through and get a pen and paper, stop it and start it, and write down the answers to the questions so you can get clarity on what you want your future to look like, what you want your relationship to look like. And if you work on it, you can make all of the difference to your relationship. There really, really is hope, and you deserve it. If you've got kids, they deserve it. Everyone deserves you putting this time and energy aside to make your relationship exactly what you want it to be. Now, what's your one action step? I hope your one action step is to go book a free call or to do some of this work, write down the answers, and let me know how you go in the comments below. I would love to hear how you're going, and hopefully I look to connect with you soon.